for the support and for subscribing and everything. I'm not sure if I'll have any videos next week, because I'll be busy on basically like a mission trip. But maybe I will, maybe I won't, I don't know. Like maybe I'll be able to post, that's what I mean. Anyway, today I'm going to read Miss Hickory. I thought I could try to get 2 chapters in. A few things before we start. I have an Instagram, and I try to post a lot on there. It's linked below. I also have a second YouTube channel that's also linked. So, oh, and I hope to get my nails taken off today. So, the last of the nails. I might get new ones, but I don't know. They're kind of expensive. Also, my next video, or I don't know when I'll post it, but I'm going to be eating mochi and I'm super excited for it. But let's get started into reading Miss Hickory. We're on chapter 5, Miss Hickory's Good Deed. Hen, Pheasant, and Miss Hickory left the brush pile in the pine wood. Side by side they crossed the orchard, turned into the field called high mowing, and walked towards the wild lot, across from the old place where blueberries grew. A cock is away on business, Miss Hickory asked. I saw him coming along this way early. And Pheasant, a drab little creature with neither color nor liveliness, gave a mournful cluck. Now, in November, Cock has left me, she told Miss Hickory. He has moved to the other side of the brush pile. He does not let me have any breakfast. Is that the custom? Miss Hickory asked, looking at Hen Pheasant. She saw that there were no glamorous creature like Cock Pheasant who walked in grandeur, his tail feathers tailing like ribbons of rainbow. He left me last autumn too, Hen Pheasant said. He began to neglect me about this time. Every morning when I walked behind Cock at a respectful distance, when we came to a feeding place, he turned and becked me home again. Brutal, no gentleman, Miss Hickory stamped her foot. What did you do about it, Hen? Nothing, she answered dolefully. There seemed to be a little left to say, so they went on side by side in silence. Miss Hickory, since she had found out that Squirrel lived at the roots of her apple tree on McIntosh Lane, had stayed away from her nest as much as possible. Squirrel had not molested her, but she valued her head too highly to take any risk. One evening, when she had hung up her hat and undressed, had settled within her dowry bed and covered herself, she was startled to see 2 bright eyes peering at her. Squirrel had climbed up and was looking over the rim of her nest. asked mildly. That is the custom among the cocks. Some autumns they allow us to have breakfast with them, sometimes not. Are you a school teacher? She asked curiously. I plan to make over a school next spring. The idea just popped into Miss Hickory's head. Then you have brains. Perhaps you can advise me. As a matter of fact, Miss Hickory could think of no means of teaching cock-buzzing good manners. But just then they came upon a surprise. They came suddenly upon a shelter for winterberry birds, where high mowing ended and the blueberry pasture began. The mowing would have been called slack by anyone who did not understand him. The mower would have been called slack. In truth, he was very allowed the tall grasses and the winds to blow, to grow high, where a stone wall made a windbreak. There were some ears of corn left standing there also, for food. It was a better winter home for little hen pheasant than the rough brush pile in the woods. Miss Hickory clapped her hands. Look, hen, she shrilled. Something has turned up. Hen pheasant stepped into the shelter and pecked at the few kernels of corn. But her small gray head still drooped, and her feathers hung, draggled and slack. Miss Hickory lost patience. Hold your head up, hen. Here you are in a winter shelter with seeds and corn on your doorstep, and you droop. Hold your head up, I say, and be thankful. I won't be allowed to stay here. Hen pheasant sighed, her head still lower. Cock will cluck me out. That, Miss Hickory saw, was exactly what might happen. Cock pheasant would come along over the snow, his feathers splashing a line of gold and scarlet against the white. He would come upon the shelter beside the stone wall, with the stalks of corn and the grasses that the mower had left. He would drive it out and move in himself. The situation seemed hopeless. Miss Hickory thought hard-headedly. She drew upon her past. Hen, she said at last, are there other hens in the same difficulty as you? All of us. Our cocks refuse to nest with us in the winter. They lived together in their club on the other side of the brush pile until spring. Then Miss Hickory told her, you must do the same. You must all make yourself comfortable until spring right here. If you take a stand, no cock will dare to drive you out. You must form a ladies' aid society. How? I don't know what you mean. But Hen Pheasant raised her dull little eyes to Miss Hickory's snapping ones. Easy enough. The first thing that the Ladies' Aid Society of Hillsborough does every autumn is to start making a bed quilt. They sew together pretty pieces of cloth that they have gathered and saved. Flowery pieces, plain pieces, but all colored. They meet at the town hall once a week to make their patch squares into one large quilt of many colors. Then they line it, stuff it, quilt it on a frame. They sell their quilt in the spring for a church fair. But you, Hen, might as well keep yours and use it this winter. And Pheasant's slow mind reeled. Not a word of Miss Hickory's good idea had she understood. So, patches, Ladies' Aid, she mumbled. Yes, Miss Hickory hurried over to the edge of the woods and was gone for a few moments. She returned with some sharp green pine needles and 4 straight and slender branches for a quilting frame. Then she gathered 4 beautiful fallen leaves, a russet oak leaf, a yellow beech leaf, a red your pattern and colors and your quilt will be the only one of its kind. The Ladies' Aid Society made patch quilts indoors. They also have Colored Mountain to look at, but they like to make their own pattern. And Pheasant looked up at Temple Mountain, shining in the sun, glowing with its autumn leaves. Scarlet sumach at the foot, green pines on top, layer on layer of bright oaks, and maples between. She had never looked at it before. Always felt sorry for herself when the leaves began to turn. Even to glance at the beauty brightened her. Now here, Miss Hickory went on working briskly, is your quilting frame. She tied the 4 branches together with strong grasses to make a square frame. When you finish the patches and sew them together to make your quilt, tie it on this frame and sew it up and down, back and forth. That's quilting. And oh, I forgot to tell you, the other thing that the Ladies' Aid Society does is to eat. They have a big dinner on the days when they meet in the town hall to work on their quilt. But Head Pheasant scarcely heard her. She had gathered herself a pile of corn over which she was clucking, singing a little tune of happiness, stitching a patch of leaves, pecking a kernel or two now and then. Miss Hickory went softly away, and Pheasant did not see her go. She's all right now, safe for the winter. I will stop at the brush pile and tell the other hens, where they may join her. I will explain to them about the Ladies' Aid Society. Miss Hickory rather felt like a Boy Scout as she walked briskly towards the woods. And that is the end of chapter 5. Let's see how long chapter 6 is. Because I want to get this book done. Not that I don't like it, but it's quite long. I think we'll save chapter 6. How long was that? Yeah. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed, then give it a thumbs up if you want to. But if you're still watching, comment, click, Thank you so much.